We're now joined by our student athletes from the University of Texas Longhorns. Ladies, welcome, and we're going to take questions from the floor. We've got a question on the front, right here in the middle.
Craig Wayne, Longhorn IMG Radio Network. Brooke, I want you to start with this, and Ariel jump in afterwards. The two of you have been around for 4 years. Jordan Canada, Kelly Hayes have been around for 4 years. You know each other. You've gone up against each other. Does it? How much fun is it to play against players like that you've known and gone up against and scrimmaged against and things like that? Those two players. Start with Brooke and then Ariel.
It's definitely exciting. I mean, they were great players back when we played them freshman year, sophomore year, but everybody's game has grown. And so it's just pretty cool to see how everybody has gotten better over the years and how their team dynamic has changed and they've gotten better with that. And so it's just fun to get to play each other all through these years.
I would say the same thing. We've all grown in our game, and I just think as people in general, and to play against people that you know that are just as competitive, it'll be fun.
We've got a question on the aisle, and then we'll go on the outside.
Rick Hand to the Austin American Statesman. Lashann, 3 years ago, you were a star player in high school in Austin. Caprice was a star player at the same time. Do you have any recollections of you either playing against her, and what did you think of her as a player at the time?
Well, we've known each other for years, especially since we were pretty close in the same area. And I would say that, I mean, we didn't really play against each other much, but we worked out a lot together, and I just know how competitive she is. And I just think the game tomorrow will be fun, knowing we both worked so hard to be in this point. So I just think it'll be a very good game.
Question on the outside left.
Yeah, Michelle Vopo from ESPN.com. This is for Brooke. Karen was just saying about how you bought into a vision, you and the other seniors. It had been a long time since Texas had been to a Sweet 16 before you got here. Now, you guys have advanced at least that far, all 4 years of your career. Can you talk about the pride you have in that, and then also just you as a point guard, as she said, the quarterback. You don't necessarily always like that title, but you've really come to be comfortable with it, I think.
I think coming in, we didn't really know what to expect. So we just kind of trusted her plan, and she was so passionate about it. Like, how could you not trust that? And so just to see where this program has grown to and how we could be a part of it is just amazing itself. And I think now we're thinking, like, this is where Texas should be, you know? Back then we were kind of just playing, and we were just like, we're going to be as competitive as we can and see where it takes us. But now this is an expectation. And so I think just that process has been pretty amazing. And then as a point guard, like I said before, when I came in, I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of blindsided by everything. But I had a great point guard in front of me, Selena, and the things that she would tell me and the things that Coach would tell me, they were just stuff that I could build off of each year. And so up to this point, I think I've kind of just taken on that role of I can get my team to do, and we can do what we want to do if we're focused. And so I think I've just kind of trusted her plan at the same time because she's hard on her point guards, and so I have to be that second coach out there, just kind of a reflection of her. And so I just take it day by day, but I know that at the end of the day I have to be a reflection of her because my team needs that from me.
Question on the outside right.
Mark Kern, Kansas City Star. This is for Lashann. Coach was talking about how rebounding was so important against Arizona State, what they did to Nebraska, and against UCLA, another big-time rebounding team. And she talked about how the guards every once in a while will like to leak out and try to get in transition. How hard is it to balance, trying to get a fast break opportunity while making sure the team has the rebound for sure?
I would say that it is important to try and focus on what the team needs at the moment. So we can't expect the post players to do everything because they do a great job of boxing out. So it's our job to help them out on the boards and go in and try and get as many boards as we can.
Got a question on the aisle.
Ariel, you and Brooke get a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Lashann doesn't get as much, but I think she's had a humongous impact on this team. Can you talk about her and what impact she's had this year? And when you're gone next year, How do you feel about Texas being in her hands?
Well, Lashann has grown tremendously from her freshman year, sophomore year to now. And a lot of people don't get to see the behind-the-scenes work that I feel like student athletes have to put in to become what we end up becoming at the end of all this. But her growth is absolutely amazing. And it's more so mental for Lashann. She's grown in ways that you can't really put into words. She's taken it to heart on focusing on what she needs to get better at to help this team. And like you said, she probably doesn't get enough attention, but that doesn't bother her at the same time because she knows what she does for this team and what she brings to us every day. And I'm completely fine with leaving the program in her hands. I think she's very capable, and I think she's going to grow into a great leader for this team.
Brooke, what about your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I think Ariel said it. Like, she took it right out of my mouth. But no, it is the behind the scenes. Lashann, like she said, she doesn't care that she's not in the spotlight, which, I mean, at this point, like, who could care that they're in the spotlight? You know, what she brings to this table is just, you can't put it into words. And it comes from just her accepting her role and accepting that she's going to bring it to the table no matter what, no matter the situation, no matter what. So I'm really excited to see what Lashann has in store because she still has another year. And when she has that leadership role, I'm just amazed at the things she's going to be able to accomplish.
We have a question in the front, then we'll go to the aisle. I'm sorry, either way.
Ariel, you had played at the hallmark high school basketball program in the state of Texas. You used to go into the state tournament year after year and winning multiple state championships and things that year. How much is the sense of urgency, the state tournament being the Final Four of Texas? You haven't had a chance to experience the Final Four as a college player. And how much have you and Brooke and the seniors talked about how important it is to this last go-around to experience that, to get to a Final Four, even though there's work in front of you here?
To be honest with you, we have not talked about that. We made that mistake a while back, and we looked so far ahead that we didn't see what was right in front of us. And so we have honestly not even talked about that because we have a game tomorrow that if we do not win, that could be my last game in a Texas uniform. So we are not talking about that and not thinking about that.
Question on the right-hand side, aisle.
Brooke, you can answer this. Obviously, Coach was talking when it is tournament time, selection time. You guys started to see that Kansas City was a possibility. You've played at Kansas, played at Kansas State. What's it like to be able to, should have a pretty good crowd tomorrow for the game?
I think it's just pretty great that we are pretty close to home. So I know Shug is from here, and so her family doesn't really get to come often. And so just to see her face light up when we were in the Kansas City bracket, and she's just excited that her family's getting here. And I think that's what it's all about, just playing in front of your family. Because for us, I mean, most of us are from Texas, so our families get to come to every single game. But when we go somewhere and kids who don't have their family come every game, it just puts excitement on their face, and it makes you want to play even harder just because they don't get to experience what we get to experience every single game. So I think it's just pretty exciting.
Further questions for our student athletes? Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle on the outside.
Yeah, this is, if I could ask two, but first for Ariel. You've gone against UCLA in your career, but you also were teammates with Monique Billings and Jordan Canada on the under-23 team that won. What was it like being teammates with them, and did you get to know them particularly well when you guys spent that time together?
I did get to know them better. We've kind of, I guess, known each other just because we played against each other sophomore year and knowing them from the McDonald's game in high school. But just playing on the team with them, you got to see them as people, not just basketball players. So that was really neat to get to hang out with them in a completely different environment than what we're used to as far as being in Japan and not in the United States.
If I could, this is for Brooke. Just, we've talked a lot about your offense, and Karen did, but also defensively, how you've evolved as a player. I think the point guards here at this regional all carry a big load defensively for their teams and kind of set the tone. And is that something you've taken a lot of pride in doing as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's, like you said, the point guards, they set the tone for the team. And so I think just coming out and trying to be as aggressive defensively as these two are, it just kind of falls on you. I don't think it's a big load, but I think it is like something that you just should take pride in. And I know that when I first got here, I didn't really take pride in defense. I didn't really see why we talked about it so much. But now when I look back on it, I do see why defense is such a big thing. And it's just a way to get stops. And if you get stops, that leads to other things. And so you have to have some pride in it. And it makes the flow of the game better.
Further questions for our student athletes? On the front, in the middle?
Lashann, one word that folks around the program always look to you to talk about was the word confidence, and how you develop confidence and play with confidence, and players struggle with confidence and all that. Can you discuss a little bit how that was a challenge for you early on, and what it ultimately has done for you as a player in developing your confidence within your role with the team?
I would say it definitely had to start off with trusting the process, because as a freshman, you don't really see how well you can do into the future, or how much you will accomplish. But I would definitely say trusting the process and the level of work you put in, because the level of work you put in always determines the outcome. Of your accomplishment. So I would just say, just got to continue to work as hard as you can, and trust the process, and worry about what you can control, and don't really focus on what you can't control.